obviously, since this is my video. And I'm doing consider it like a public service announcement, very short video on the Xbox Kinect. I'm not going to get into the whole workings, descriptions, and like nitty-gritty of how it works. I did an article some time ago for Skeptical Inquirer magazine. They published the article on their website, psycop.org. So you can look for it there. Search for my name with Kinect, and you can read all about it. It's a very long article, very technical, but it has good information and a very solid source. And well, I started doing this because, well, one, it's snowing out today, and I have nothing planned, and I'm kind of stuck in the house, and I'm waiting for power to go out. But I saw my buddy Chris Gillett, I hope I say his last name right, but he was doing a video where he set up the Xbox Kinect and with a static scene, and just let it go for a while. And I don't think anything came of it. I watched it for a little bit, and no stick figures popped up. And it's understandable. I mean, if you have a static scene and at first nothing happens, then yeah, I think that's the way it's going to go. But if you move it around a little bit, it might pick something up. And that's what I try to demonstrate today. Easily, you'll see when I start playing the clips. And there's only like 3 clips. I have more that I can add. I might add the vacuum cleaner. I don't know. I might. But basically, what I did, I set it up, and to view the room back here, you see my laptop bag is there on the chair, and I set it up. I'll bring you down here. So this has been going for about, oh shit, I don't know, like a half hour now, and the little guy hasn't moved. He's stuck on that chair with the bag. And as you'll see in some of the videos, what I did was I actually get into the scene, and at one point I pick the bag up and move it around. And I won't tell you what happens, I'll let you see it. But like I said, it's a very quick video. I'm not looking to do anything in depth here. I'm just showing you examples and saying, hey, you know what? This can happen. It will happen. It's a definite flaw that must be taken into account when people use equipment like this. You can't just throw a device out there and claim to be scientific and using a device when you don't know how it works, you're not sure of the flaws, you don't control for the environment, and most importantly, you don't do what the fucking manufacturer says. And basically that means you have to clear a space. Like this space should be a good 10 by 10 area where nothing is in there. No furniture, nothing. Because it's the play area. That's the play area. And there should only be players in there. Like player 1, player 2. That's it. But because I have something in there, it picked it up. And at first it didn't. When I turned it on, I already had the Kinect here stationary. It was already set up, wasn't moving, the whole scene was... So when I started the video, nothing happened. And all I did was move this tray a little bit. And as soon as I moved it, and I think you'll see it in the video, as soon as I moved it, the stick figure popped up. Boom. So I'll shut up and let you look at the videos. I'll leave the sound on there. I was going to cut the sound out, honestly, because I had the TV going in the background. I was watching Black Mirror, which is up there. But I'll leave it on. Just ignore it. And that kind of helps you guys see that I'm not playing any tricks. I did cut the scene. The first scene I cut into 2 and actually took a chunk out where nothing was happening. But it was only about a minute of video where it was just static video. And it really doesn't have any bearing on what I'm trying to demonstrate here. So, there you go. I'll shut up, and I'll let this little guy show you what happens. Okay, what we're seeing here is my dining room / workshop area. And in the middle of the screen is a laptop bag on top of a folding chair. And in a couple seconds here, I'm going to move the Kinect, slightly turn it to the side. And what you're going to see is a stick figure pop up. There it is. And this is pretty common. I mean, when you think about the ghost hunting TV shows or YouTube videos that you see where ghost hunters go out and use this thing, They're getting stick figures because they're walking around. It's usually on a portable handle with a tablet attached to it, battery pack, and they're looking for this. Or even if it's stationary and they're moving about the scene, either walking into the scene or other things are getting into the scene. People using cameras with infrared lights can also affect it. We'll see that a little bit later. But any interaction or movements like this, where there's objects in the scene, in the playing area, which this is the playing area, a good 10 by 10 area, should be clear of any furniture. But if there's stuff in there, the Kinect can easily mistake it for a person, depending on the shape and size of it. And in this case, my laptop bag on top of a chair resembles, I guess, a body. And it's comparing it to the millions, literally millions of images in its database. And it says, hey, you know what? I think there's a figure here. I'm going to assign a skeleton to it. Now what I'm going to do now, you're going to see me walking into the scene, and I'm going to start screwing with it. I'm going to see if I can interact just like you see in ghost videos. And there you go. And what this is doing, is the Kinect is seeing my arm when it reaches out at the same distance, and it appears to the Kinect as being an extension of the original body that it picked up. So that's why it jumped. The skeleton jumped to my arm. And then, of course, as you saw, I had my own skeleton when I moved away. And now I'm playing with it, interacting. Yes, I can make it juggle around and fight with me and go back and forth until, boom, it jumps up onto me. And both disappear. And there you go, my skeleton reappears. And what happens there is that it just saw me. It saw both of us, wasn't sure what was going on. We were the same distance away. We were probably, I was touching the bag at times, and it looked like one person. So I thoroughly confused the Kinect. And it went from 2, it morphed into 1, and then it just said, basically, fuck it, I'm getting rid of both of them. And that's what happened. Alright, I jumped about 40 seconds ahead because there was nothing going on. And at this point, I turn it again. As you see, the Kinect turns, and the stick figure pops up. And now I'm showing that I can go back and forth with the Kinect, moving it back and forth. And the stick figure remains glued to the chair. I mean, you can see that the legs are glued to the legs of the chair. And now I'm actually rotating the Kinect, not just turning it on its base. I'm going around in an arc in front of it to show that it's not anywhere else except on the bag. Now I'm gonna go mess with it again, interact again. I'm at the same distance away from the camera, so that's why it's picking my arm. And as you saw, like, I'm moving the chair back and forth, and it's staying on there. It's trying to grab onto me. It's not really an entity. It's not a ghost trying to grab onto me. It's simply the stick figure that's assigned to it, and the Kinect is mistaking where it is. Now I'm behind it, and you can see that, yeah, it's still on me, but it's also on the chair. I'm going to duck down behind it, and I'm going to slowly back away. There I go. And now the stick figure that was on me is on the chair. It stays on the chair, and I get another stick figure, which is all mutated, and it's a midget. I'm sorry, a little person. I don't want to get people pissed off, but it only, right there for a couple seconds, it was only on my chest area, and it had arms, legs, body, everything. Now what I'm doing is putting in a large bottle. That's a vintage wine bottle. It's actually pretty cool. But I'm putting it in front of the stick figure on the chair, and you see it's going crazy. And I believe, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's because the infrared speckle pattern that's coming out of Kinect is hitting the glass and being bounced around all over the place. It's not reflecting straight back at the camera, back at the sensor in the Kinect, and that's why it's getting this kind of like seizure-like movements, where it's all over. It's not sure what the hell it's doing. Okay, we jump ahead about 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I'm going to take the bottle out of the way. We still have this mutant/alien skeleton stick figure on the chair. And now I'm messing with it so it's going to jump up and look like it's on me or grabbing me. it's really not. It's just a stick figure, a computer-generated stick figure. And now, yeah, I'm going to poke it, mess with it. Because this is typical of what you see on ghost hunting shows. There's been plenty of ghost, like Paranormal Lockdown did an episode at White Hill Mansion where they claimed to have gotten a ghost up under a desk in the attic, and they were putting their hand out, and it looked like it was reaching up and touching them. It wasn't. There was no ghost. It wasn't reaching up and touching them. It was simply the same distance from the camera, whatever it locked onto under the desk that it thought was a person. It saw the hand that was trying to poke it at the same distance and reached out. Right now, I'm showing that we have a stick figure on there, and that if I rotate it up, if you look on in the top right corner of the screen, it's going to start turning green, because right now it's all gray or pinkish, and it's seeing the chair and the floor at the same distance as I move the Kinect up, and right now it turned all green. So right there, the color variation is saying that this is all the same distance, and we're looking at it, and it's totally confused. The Kinect is confused out its ass, does not know what to think. Now it's all red, same thing. It's just a I wouldn't call it a mistake or it's glitch. You might call it a glitch, but it's pretty much user error in this because I'm messing with the camera. You're not supposed to move the camera. It's supposed to, or the Kinect. Okay, now we're set up. It's been going for a while now, and I'm going to set it up so that I'm going to start messing with the chair a little bit and do a little bit else. So let's move the chair, and we'll get the stick figure back. There it is, just popped up. And now I'm going to lift the bag up. And I didn't expect this to happen. I really thought that once I lifted the bag, that the stick figure would disappear, but it stayed on there. The Kinect is actually looking at the bag as a figure. It thinks it's a figure with me. Player 2 or Player 1. It doesn't distinguish between which one. But it stayed with it. That was awesome. That was a unexpected surprise. And now I'm going to swing it in front of me. And it's keeping us separated. But you can see that it mingles the two skeletons together as the bag is in front of me. But yeah, it's just a flaw. And this is demonstrating a flaw when using it for any kind of paranormal investigation. You can't rely on this to give you any kind of accurate results when it comes to alleged ghosts or spirits or demons or whatever entity you want to hunt. In this case, the Xbox Kinect has locked onto something and assigned a very weird looking stick figure. What did it lock onto? A vacuum cleaner. That's right. That is the vacuum cleaner. That is right there. In front of the sofa with the lazy dog. Yep. And if we move the Kinect, let's see, should disappear. Oh, gone. Let's bring it back. Come on. There it is. Thought it was going to make me look stupid. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate that using an infrared light, which you can see my one hand is holding a camera, the other hand is holding light, and as I'm playing with the light and pointing it at the vacuum, I'm manipulating the stick figure. And that's because the Kinect uses an infrared speckle pattern that it projects out into the area, and the infrared sensor reads that projected infrared speckle pattern. I'm sorry, it's a mouthful. And that's how it determines depth. And it also looks at the different dots and checks if they're curved, as if they're going around the edge of an object, and decides, like, okay, if it's oblong, that means it's going around the side of an object, and then it distinguishes that as a figure. In this case, the infrared light that I'm using is manipulating the speckle pattern. It's destroying some of the speckles. It's bleaching them out, washing them out, and it's messing with it until finally it disappears because it doesn't know what it's looking at. This clip is included because the figure that's on the left is going to jump suddenly to a different position. It doesn't glide over, it doesn't walk over or float or anything. It just jumps. There it goes. And this is, again, it's due to the Kinect. It's not sure what it's looking at. It's pointed at my entertainment center and TV, which has a lot of trinkets on it, and it just doesn't know what to focus on. So it jumped to a different position. There is no ghost. I checked with all the latest ghost hunting equipment, but unfortunately, it's just another flaw with the device. This particular video is showing two stick figures that were assigned. One was to the entertainment center that's underneath my TV, and the other one is the column that's on the side of the archway between the rooms. And there you go. There's on the right side is the column that it assigned one skeleton, and in the corner there with the router and the blue light is where the other figure is. It's actually latching on to the different features and the birthday cards that are on top. Alright, so it's still there. It's been about 10 minutes now. And all I'm going to do is move the Kinect. I'm going to tilt it. You'll see it in the screen. I want to keep the camera on the screen. There's the Kinect. It's facing out that way. And I'm just going to tilt it and see if this thing just disappears. Okay, so here we go. And gone. I mean, it stayed right on that position until I guess the angle was different enough. Ah, wait, here we go. Now it's all over the place. Oh, there's two of them. Interesting. Let's see if it pops up again. I just moved it, disappeared. Oh, boom. Wow, I do not know what that thing is. Oh, pop, pop. It really likes that corner. Okay, so it wasn't so short. It was a lot longer than I expected. I honestly thought I was going to include just the first two clips, which I split one into two clips. So the first three clips, when I'm manipulating the laptop bag and picking it up and stuff, I thought that was it. But after reading some of the comments that were left, because I had posted a picture on Facebook on my blog page, you know, kind of hinting at what I was doing, showing it the Kinect and, you know, the chair set up and everything. And a couple comments, one by Chris, who I mentioned in the beginning of the video, and a few other people. They wanted me to really sell it to them, you know, and it sounded like they were expecting a lot. And I know Chris has done experiments where he set up the Kinect with a static scene, and he has, I'm pretty sure he hasn't gotten anything pop up yet. If I'm wrong, please, Chris, you know, correct me. But I think he set it up and he hasn't gotten anything pop up. And I wanted to show some clips where that happened. It's rare. It doesn't happen all the time. But I have seen some out there in YouTube land where it happens. And I knew I had some. And although my clips are short, yes, I did move the camera or the Kinect. I moved the Kinect, but it was stationary before the stick figures pop up. So it was a static scene. It was stationary for a few seconds, and then the figures pop up. And it happened twice in that last video. And I just wanted to demonstrate that. I wanted to include that to show you all the different things. So running down, I made a list because I can't remember all this stuff, so I wrote it down. So a couple things just to review. We've demonstrated that moving the Kinect device itself can cause a figure to appear. depending on the environment and what's in the environment. Number two, we got it to crawl up onto me in that one video, and I'm playing with it. I'm messing around, and it looks like it crawls up to me. You know, it's all jumpy, but it crawls up, and that's because it sees us at the same distance. The Kinect really thinks that we're the same thing, that we're the same body, and it just couldn't decide, you know, where to put the stick figure, and it just said, all right, well, I'm going to lump it all together here. I am not possessed, I assure you. You know, I mean, some of you might argue, I'm sure, but you're wrong. Number three, and I was able to move and lift an object that it had assigned a stick figure to, and it still kept the stick figure on it. With the laptop bag, I was able to lift it up out of the chair, and it kept the stick figure with it. I kicked the chair out of the way, and it stayed there. You know, and I think before that, I moved the chair all around. And when I moved it around, you can't really tell in the video, but it was a good 2 or 3 feet back and forth and side to side. So it was a good distance, and it still kept the figure on it. Let's see, that was 3. Number 4, I demonstrated that it was more than one item. So I used the laptop bag and the chair as a demonstration. I thought that I was going to do the other one, the only one with that, but then I figured, you know, we have to show that it does assign it to other objects. So I included the vacuum cleaner videos, and then also the entertainment center and the side of the archway. I called it a column, but it's not a column. It's the trim on the side of the arch that goes into my dining room / workshop. It's not a dining room, it's a workshop. So I wanted to show, and that's 3, technically 4 different objects that it assigned stick figures to that weren't people, and they weren't ghosts. I can assure you they weren't. What else? IR lights. I was able to show that that they do affect how the Kinect sees. In one video, the stick figure completely disappeared, and in another video, I was able to show that it goes up and down. You know, every time I shined the light, it looked like, you know, the figure was shining away from it, almost like a vampire from sunlight. But it was just because I was manipulating the speckle pattern that was on the vacuum, and therefore the Kinect was saying, all right, well, it's not there anymore. I still think there's a figure there, so I'm going to condense the figure. Maybe the figure's moving away or crouching down, and that's what it did. Yeah. What else? Figures can pop into other areas. There was the short video that I showed that there was 2 figures, and then one just blinked out and blinked in at a different location at the same time. You know, it blinked out. And this is typical too, because it's still not sure. This is a man-made device. It has flaws. We should know about it. And again, it goes back to the player area. You're supposed to have a 10 by 10 area clear of any furniture or anything else, any obstacles, so that, you know, the kids can play, or, you know, the big kids can play and dance. I like dancing. I do the Star Wars dancing. I used to. I don't anymore. There was an incident. And then what else? They can also pop stick figures can pop out of nowhere, and that was the last video showing that the scene was static. It was static for a couple seconds, and then boom, it came in. If I left it there for a long time, who knows? It might have popped up. In the beginning, when I did the intro to this video, I showed you the laptop, and there was a stick figure on the chair and the laptop bag, and that had been there for a good 10 minutes at least. And while I was doing other videos or watching, well, actually, I was watching the end of the Black Mirror episode, and by the time that was over, which was another, I would say, a half hour to 45 minutes later, the stick figure never moved from the chair. It stayed there. Did it pop in and out? I don't know. I wasn't watching it. I would check every once in a while. I'd look over and see if it was still there. It was still there. You know, so now we're going on, you know, anywhere from maybe 40 minutes to an hour that it was there. I don't know what to tell you. I do know what to tell you. It doesn't detect ghosts. What else? And the last thing was that the figures can crawl to different parts of the scene. And I showed that when I picked the Kinect up like this. So when I said when I was kind of rotating it around the scene, so instead of, I don't have it here with me, but I will demonstrate with my special tea here that's filled with tea and rum. But instead of just turning the Kinect like this, I was actually moving it this way. And that's, I mean, if you watch the video again, you'll see that that's what I was doing. And the stick figure was staying on the chair. But when I lifted it up, lifted the Kinect up. I lifted it like this, and that's when the stick figure kind of started going down to the floor. And I had mentioned that in the upper right corner, the parts of the scene would turn green, and at one point they turned red. And it was the whole area, the chair, the laptop bag, the floor, it all turned the same color. And that indicates that the Kinect saw it and thought it was the same distance away, and it kind of lumped it together in one figure. So that's why the stick figure crawled down. It didn't actually crawl, it was just moved, repositioned. That's a better word for it. It was repositioned to the bulk of what the Kinect thought was a figure. Woo, you hear that wind? I don't know if you can hear that. That's the storm outside. But that's it. I know it wasn't short. Sorry it was long. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. I hope this helps you guys, paranormal enthusiasts or skeptics, or science enthusiasts, everybody in between, whatever you call yourselves. I hope you understand the Kinect and its operation better as it pertains to paranormal research or investigation, ghost hunts, whatever. It's not a good tool, and that's the bottom line. It's not a good tool for what they're being used for, because it's a game. It's made for a game, and to try to extrapolate scientific data out of that, you're working with a device with known flaws, and we've demonstrated that. So if you continue to use it, all you're doing is building up flawed data. That's how I see it, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but I think the data that you're building is just not only flawed, but it's crap, for lack of a better word. It's no good. So I would advise not using them. Stop using them. Stop buying the very expensive conversion things, the SLS. I think they're called structured light sensors, which, technically, yeah, that's what it is, but it's more of a fancy name, to make you spend more money. Don't waste your money. All right. That's it. I'm going to stop saying because I noticed I said it a lot, and I'm going to stop the video. Never stop learning.